Now let's look at how the body is going to regulate all that activity that we're going to have within the stomach. So with gastric regulation, we're going to look at 3 different phases that are going to help us to regulate the production from those different cells, as well as how we're going to start digesting and processing the food. So first of all, we're looking at trying to maintain enough acid and enzymes that are going to allow us to break down the food when there is actually food, but we also want to make sure that the stomach doesn't overfill and that we're not damaging the small intestine by releasing things too quickly into the small intestine. So our stomach needs some time to hold that chyme and mix it all up with the gastric juices, and needs some sort of signals to tell it when to make the gastric juices and then when to slowly release things into the small intestine. We are going to start with the cephalic phase, cephal meaning head. So for the cephalic phase, this is going to be a reflexive phase. This reflexive phase is going to begin when you think about food, when you see food, when you smell food. All of those things that are happening mentally are going to trigger this cephalic phase. The cephalic phase is going to prime our stomach to try to get it ready for food that's going to be coming in. So the vagus nerve is going to send signals from our brain to our stomach's enteric system. So our enteric system is then going to cause us to stimulate our G cells, and that G cell is going to produce gastrin, and at the same time it's going to stimulate our mucus, chief cells, and parietal cells. So all of them will start secreting their particular secretions and start putting it and creating that gastric juice, getting ready for that food to come in. This is why people will sometimes stress eat, because your emotional states can exaggerate or inhibit your cephalic phase. So some people don't get hungry when they're stressed out, but some people get super hungry when they are stressed out, because it just depends on the signals that your brain is sending and whether you start stimulating or inhibiting these different signals throughout your body. Our next phase is the gastric phase. This is the phase where we're basically doing all the work that we think of what the stomach is supposed to be doing. This is going to be triggered by food actually entering into the stomach itself, so that bolus has come down and now it's in the stomach, and your stomach is going to distend, so the stretch receptors are going to notice that the stomach is now full of food. This phase is going to last 3 or 4 hours, in which the food is going to be staying within your stomach, and about 2/3 of your gastric secretions are going to be working during this particular time. So notice we're getting a lot of stimulation that's happening. So we have all these red arrows and green arrows that are showing stimulating effects that are going to be occurring. We have stimulating effects that are going to cause our mucus, chief, and parietal cells to start increasing that rate of all the secretions that they're making. This is also going to be triggering the gastrin, which is then going to cause the cells again to be stimulated. So the G cells get stimulated, which causes the other ones to be stimulated, so they're making even more of these different substances to create that gastric juice. So when you're looking at this, there are a few different triggers that are happening. We already talked about the distension, where your stretch receptors are going to be doing this, but we're also going to get chemical triggers as well, where you're going to have a rising pH. The pH is going to increase, because what was just gastric juice with a pH of 2 or 3 is now going to be mixed with food, and that food is going to be more basic and is going to cause a neutralizing effect. So now the pH is going to increase. That increase of pH is going to stimulate the G cells more to secrete more gastrin. During this same time, we're also going to be creating a stimulating mixing wave. So now our muscles will start contracting. The muscles contracting, that's going to allow us to take those food products, that bolus you had, and mix it with all of that gastric juice. The mashing is going to break that larger bolus into smaller pieces so that you can increase the surface area, so you have more contact with all that gastric juice. So all this mixing and churning is really what's allowing us to create that chyme, as opposed to the bolus that we started with, where we were just chewing, lubricating with saliva, and then pushing it down into our stomach. Also, as you start digesting some of the proteins in there, the partially digested proteins, the peptides, now also stimulate the G cells to secrete gastrin, which then causes stimulations of mucus, chief cells, and parietal cells. So all of these are going to be working together to have this stimulating response. So you have a local response, a neural response, and a hormonal response that's going to be happening during this gastric phase. This intestinal phase is going to be a way of slowing down what's happening in the stomach, because what is happening is that chyme that has been mixing in the stomach itself is going to start leaking down into the duodenum of your small intestine. The pyloric sphincter is going to be generally open at this point, but as you start leaking and moving that chyme into the small intestine, that is going to trigger the enterogastric reflex. And the enterogastric reflex is going to inhibit a number of different things that are happening. So one of which is, once we detect that there are going to be lipids and carbohydrates within the small intestine, we're going to secrete these different hormones: CCK, GIP, and secretin. So only after you have those different chyme substances coming into the small intestine do these hormones get secreted, and these hormones are now going to inhibit our chief cells and our parietal cells. It's also going to start slowing down with our peristalsis and our churning and mixing, because we're also going to be getting this plexus signal. That plexus signal is going to come from that neural inhibition that's occurring. So these stretch receptors are like, well, we have food in here already, so let's slow this down. And so we're going to inhibit the neurons here that are going to slow down the peristalsis and the mixing waves. One of the other triggers is that you're also going to decrease the distension of the stomach, because as you are losing volume from the stomach into the small intestine, that stomach is going to start deflating and shrinking a little bit. So those stretch receptors will realize that there's less food within the stomach itself. So these are really important signals, so that only a little bit of the chyme is going to go into the small intestine before we start closing off that pyloric sphincter, allowing time for the small intestine to do its digestion and then absorption of the good nutrients from that chyme. At the same time, we're allowing things to sit in the stomach longer so that they're getting more exposure to that gastric juice. As we start losing the volume within the small intestine, as it starts moving onward, then the pyloric sphincter will open up again, and then you're going to release a little bit more that's going to go into the small intestine. So like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be over the course of 3 to 4 hours where you're going to be within that gastric phase before you're going to start really losing all that chyme to go into the small intestine. So this is going to be the starting to slow down. We're putting on the brakes of the digestive process that's going to be occurring within the stomach as we go into the intestinal phase. Now, when we talk about the intestinal phase with these different hormones that are going to be created, those hormones do inhibit gastric regulation, but they're also going to start up other and stimulate other things that are going to be happening in terms of the digestive process within the small intestine itself. So the CCK here is going to be stimulated by the presence of lipids and carbohydrates. That CCK is going to stimulate our accessory organs to tell them to do certain things. The GIP is our gastric inhibitory peptide. So that's causing a lot of the inhibition effects that we're talking about with these different cells. The secretin is going to cause us to stimulate those G cells. The secretin you see here was going to be stimulated by that decreased pH because you were mixing with food, and now you're in the small intestine that has some buffering capabilities within it. That secretin was going to stimulate our G cells to create more gastrin, which is going to help us to finish off this gastric phase as we're moving out. So the goal is to prevent the duodenum from getting overwhelmed. We won't want too much chyme in there, and we don't want too much of an acidic environment to happen at one time. Now, I had mentioned the gastric phase is going to happen over the course of 3 to 4 hours. The intestinal phase is going to be longer than that. So generally 4 to 6 hours is what they say for a standard meal, but it's highly variable depending on the composition of the food that you're eating. So carbohydrates versus fats and lipids, they're going to have very different processing times. So if you're looking at a fat or a lipid, generally your intestinal phase is actually going to be longer because it's harder to break down fats than it is to carbohydrates. The small intestine itself is really only allowed to have a small amount of that acidic chyme at a time that it's going to be working on. So we're talking like around 3 to 5 milliliters of chyme is squirted through the pyloric sphincter as it's going into the small intestine. So you're not going to have that huge dump of the chyme. It's really just small sections of it that will be released at a time. Now, one of the things people often comment on and have questions on is if they have things like spicy foods, all of a sudden they have to go to the bathroom real quick. They have to have a bowel movement. That is not because of this intestinal phase. In fact, spicy foods will sometimes slow down the intestinal phase, but those spicy foods with a lower pH and irritating things like capsaicin actually are going to trigger other parts of the digestive system to have a faster response. So if your body is taking in something that is an irritant, your large intestine is going to take that as it's something dangerous, we need to get rid of it quickly. So your large intestine starts contracting and it starts pushing out the food products that were from the meal previous to this. So you're pushing out all the old things that were in the large intestine at that time, but it's triggered because your body found an irritant, so it's going to trigger those to be released to make room for the new food.